Hey AI enthusiasts, and welcome to All About AI Tech. Today, we're tackling a massive topic, AI regulation. This is huge because AI is no longer some futuristic dream. It's shaping our world right now. From self-driving cars to medical diagnoses, AI is influencing almost everything. But with this power comes enormous responsibility, and that's where AI regulation comes in. We're going to explore the major players in the field, delving into various national strategies and laws. We'll be looking at the different approaches being taken across the globe, including the EU AI Act, which is setting a new standard in terms of the breadth and depth of its provisions, China's strategic approach, which prioritizes state control and national economic implications, and the US, still working things out politically and still struggling to get a national strategy on the topic in place. We'll discuss approaches ranging from the stringent rules of the EU AI Act to the seemingly more hands-off approaches favored by those in the United States and China. What's surprising is that many of these countries, even those with strongly divergent viewpoints, are starting to agree upon one crucial thing: that good AI is trustworthy AI. We'll look at how these frameworks are impacting various sectors, especially those that handle very sensitive information from patient records in healthcare to financial details in banking. We'll examine some of the key challenges countries face when they propose such frameworks, including the speed of AI development versus its political and regulatory implementation and the impact on different cultures. Get ready to explore the complexities and nuances of shaping a trustworthy AI future. Now, let's clarify something super important: the difference between responsible AI and ethical AI. They're related, but not the same. Responsible AI focuses on the practical side: accountability, transparency, and making sure you're following the rules. Picture it as the how-to guide. It's about creating internal policies and compliance plans that work within an existing legal framework and minimize risk. Think about building and deploying AI systems that are legally sound, traceable, reliable, and safe. Ethical AI, on the other hand, is more about the bigger picture: fairness, privacy, and the overall societal impact. It's the why, the high-level principles. Imagine it as defining a company's core guiding values that ensure the long-term effects on society remain positive. The two work together perfectly. The best AI projects need both. Strong ethical ambitions need responsible implementation, and responsible AI needs to be grounded in strong ethical principles. We'll look at some real-world examples to illustrate this. Think of a company that develops an AI system for hiring, which must uphold fairness standards. It also needs to comply with data privacy and anti-discrimination laws. In this case, responsible AI involves the practical steps and procedures required to adhere to legislation, while ethical AI defines its moral objective to avoid biases in hiring decisions and to promote diversity across selection processes. This includes questions around algorithmic transparency. This involves making sure that the algorithm's workings are intelligible, thus building trust and accountability. Without both, the whole AI product fails. Let's dive into how a leading tech company is addressing AI ethics. IBM's AI ethics framework is something worth looking at. They've built a robust system around 4 key roles: a policy advisory committee, setting the company's strategy and risk tolerance; an AI ethics board, composed of cross-disciplinary members from several teams who review new AI initiatives and projects; AI ethics focal points, assigned to each business unit to act as points of contact for ethical issues, who assess and remediate risks and escalate matters to the board as needed; and an advocacy network, a team that champions internal AI ethics. Education and adoption. This multi-layered approach shows how to scale AI ethics across a large, diverse organization. The focal points here are especially interesting because they're the ones on the front lines. The ones detecting AI ethics concerns early in the AI project lifecycle, which prevents problems from developing into bigger, costlier issues later. By embedding ethical oversight at this stage, they make risk mitigation faster and prevent problems from bubbling to the top, thereby making the job of the AI ethics board simpler. It shows a business-minded approach. Getting it right early saves time, dollars, and reputations. The structure and the implementation of the framework at IBM is fascinating, as it is not only built to enhance ethical AI initiatives, but also increase AI adoption through a positive and supportive culture and environment. I'll share some more detail from the IBM case study, how they operationalize these roles, in the next section, to give you an idea of how it works in practice. Implementing responsible AI is anything but easy. This part of the video will address the challenges faced when a company develops an ethical AI program. We'll cover some frequent difficulties that crop up when setting up this type of governance. Organizations face a host of practical challenges. First, there's the simple problem of scale. While there's agreement on the need for ethical principles, It is hard to take these from a conceptual framework to a set of everyday guidelines and practices, making it hard to implement and ensure compliance enterprise-wide, and to provide sufficient oversight enterprise-wide. Moreover, the technology itself is constantly changing, with new AI models and applications emerging regularly. Frameworks designed today risk becoming obsolete quickly, as we haven't yet completely answered many of the existential questions related to the technology, such as its impact on jobs or the development of self-learning AI, and how a human-driven model of governance can meaningfully respond to these concerns. Another important issue is making sure that the principles and practices developed are fair across cultures. The values and ethics of AI users in one region may well be substantially different from those in another, and any attempt to impose a single set of ethics might prove unsuccessful unless it is sensitive to local nuances and perspectives. This poses a considerable challenge for companies operating globally. On top of the difficulties encountered by different companies at various technological stages, there is also the challenge of securing buy-in and commitment from your employees. This process can be made simpler from the top down, however, as we discussed in our review of the IBM framework. It therefore requires not only organizational changes, but also cultural changes as employees are brought into the process and take ownership of establishing ethical standards. In short, it requires a concerted effort from leadership and organizational champions across the firm to build a culture where ethics are not an afterthought, but an everyday aspect of how work gets done. It's up to leaders to lead the charge. Now, let's focus on how to take these ideas and turn them into concrete action. I'm going to share some practical steps that organizations can take to integrate AI ethics and governance. The first thing to do when starting an AI ethics program involves defining clear ethical standards and guidelines for AI development and deployment. This isn't just a technical matter. It involves a deep understanding of your company's values and the ethical values of your community. You must decide, what does your organization stand for? These values need to be translated into concrete guidelines for data governance, such as transparency in how data will be collected and used, ensuring that algorithms are fair, transparent, and accountable. What you should do then is establish clear roles and responsibilities, ensuring accountability mechanisms and oversight processes are in place. Who's responsible for what regarding your company's AI technologies and data? Then, establish clear protocols for handling ethical concerns such as bias, detecting these concerns and implementing measures to mitigate these biases. Having regular audits and evaluations of AI systems and models ensures compliance and helps identify risks early on, preventing them from spiraling into bigger problems. It's also important to make training on AI ethics and responsible AI practices core to how your teams are developed and maintained. All employees and leaders should have opportunities to receive the training to do ethical AI work. You will need to prioritize methods to build psychological safety and collaborative workspaces for those involved. This ensures ethical AI is viewed as a core aspect of the business, not a sideshow. There is much more to say on these topics, but this should provide you with the initial impetus to start your ethical AI initiatives. I've also included links to several frameworks and guidelines in the video description for those interested in going further. Let's explore how a global company is successfully implementing responsible AI practices. Unilever has developed a robust AI assurance process that's fully integrated into its operations. They found a way to make sure that AI projects conform to their values and regulatory expectations, and that has also helped to increase their AI capabilities. They don't just have principles, they've made them operational. Unilever's AI assurance process starts early in the life cycle. Any AI initiative goes through a rigorous review by an expert team that assesses potential risks and compliance issues, which safeguards and mitigates potential problems at the outset. This process combines regulatory compliance, for example, with GDPR, with alignment with UN standards, always keeping human-centered values paramount. The team has already assessed over 150 AI projects using this approach, which has had a positive ripple effect upon their capacity to innovate and deliver results. This illustrates that ensuring responsible AI isn't just about slowing things down. It's about accelerating growth. When you reduce AI-related risks, the speed of progress can increase by eliminating rework, litigation, and reputational damage. Unilever has already deployed hundreds of AI systems across multiple departments, demonstrating that comprehensive AI assurance doesn't limit its ability to harness the power of this technology. Integrating a responsible AI approach as part of its workflow has been demonstrated to be an accelerator. Ultimately, the success of AI depends heavily on trust. Consumers and employees must trust AI's outputs before they use them. But how do we build that trust? The answer lies in transparency and building effective oversight. By ensuring transparency and explainability, an increasingly important aspect of AI, Organizations allow users to understand how AI systems arrive at their conclusions. They can also develop interpretable AI models, meaning the decision-making logic is understandable. Communicating the rationale behind decisions builds trust. When users understand why an AI system made a particular choice, they're more likely to have confidence in its actions. This is especially important in high-stakes situations, like in healthcare when an AI is used to make diagnoses or provide treatment recommendations. Also essential to building trust are clear accountability mechanisms. If an AI system makes a mistake, who is responsible? Having clear procedures in place for how to identify errors and address any challenges will reduce uncertainties. Effective governance mechanisms, including audits and continuous monitoring and human oversight, can help ensure systems are reliably performing and acting in ways that uphold ethical standards. A human-centric design approach also generates more trust because those who use it feel in charge. It shows the user that governance frameworks aren't just about compliance. They're about creating tools that serve users and that those tools are being carefully overseen. By prioritizing these practical steps, organizations can cultivate trust in AI and foster its responsible deployment. Let's look at some best practices for establishing and maintaining strong AI governance. First, your organization should develop a comprehensive AI governance framework that defines clear guidelines for AI ethics. This framework must align with your company's broader ethical values, legal and regulatory obligations, and industry standards. Having this framework in place should help guide decisions across the entire AI lifecycle, from data sourcing to model deployment. There are several existing frameworks available, which we'll cover in the video description, including those from the EU, the OECD, and NIST, that can help you get started. Second, foster a culture of accountability, establishing mechanisms for overseeing and addressing ethical issues. This culture can be supported by assigning specific roles and responsibilities, for example, having designated AI ethics officers or committees. By establishing these roles, everyone, in particular, leaders and decision-makers, understand their obligation to the organization's values as well as any legal or compliance requirements. By developing a comprehensive AI governance strategy, you can proactively address ethical concerns and ensure that your AI systems operate within acceptable use standards. Third, prioritize fairness and inclusivity in AI development. Make sure that the training data used for your models is representative of a wide variety of populations. This helps mitigate bias and promotes fairness. Additionally, you can leverage various techniques like fairness-aware machine learning to detect and correct any biases before deployment. By incorporating fairness measures at the design level, you can help ensure that your AI outcomes are good for all stakeholders. Fourth, maintain transparency and explainability. Users should understand why AI systems generate particular outputs, and hence, your AI should prioritize processes to make the logic behind decision-making clear, which may include integrating explainable AI, XAI, methods into your development processes. By ensuring transparency from the beginning, you can foster trust through greater awareness, enabling users to be able to follow the decision-making logic. This could also help to manage risks related to regulatory or compliance requirements. Finally, plan for the long term. AI is developing at a fast pace. A roadmap for governance needs to adapt and evolve too. Develop flexible governance frameworks and processes for building and maintaining ethical AI, which can respond to changing ethical standards and regulatory requirements. Keeping your framework up to date is essential, whether you are reviewing existing AI assets or building new ones. By following these best practices, organizations can navigate the complex landscape of AI, balancing innovation and responsibility. As we wrap up this deep dive into AI ethics and governance, I want to emphasize the crucial role that leaders and companies play in making sure that AI systems operate safely and responsibly. The benefits of AI are undeniable, but if we're going to realize this potential, we must prioritize responsible AI development and build trust among our users, employees, investors, and society as a whole. What we've really seen today is that ethical AI isn't just a matter of adhering to ethical guidelines, but of building systems that are both trustworthy and fit for purpose. This requires comprehensive governance frameworks, proactive risk management, and a commitment to transparency and accountability. And, crucially, ensuring all stakeholders remain in the loop and take shared responsibility. The companies we've looked at today, IBM, Unilever, etc., weren't just responding to legislation or pressure. They were making smart financial and strategic decisions for their firms. These companies recognize that a mature and transparent AI approach is better for business overall. It's better for staff morale, for customer acquisition and retention, for investor confidence, for compliance, and for preventing major financial and reputational risks down the road. Doing things ethically and responsibly increases bottom line. This is only the beginning. As AI continues to reshape our digital world, we will have increasingly profound discussions on ethical principles, legal mandates, and innovative ideas, which will involve ever more stakeholders. The next few years are going to be even more crucial than those we've already had, as we tackle the technological, social, and ethical impacts of AI technologies. I'll continue to produce regular updates on the biggest AI news and trends here on All About AI Tech. Remember to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you won't miss out on anything. Let's continue this critical conversation together, shaping a more secure and sustainable AI-driven future, one ethical step at a time. Thanks for being here, and join me next time to explore.